Hi, I'm Jack Grave, and I have a question for you. If you're married or have a long-term girlfriend, have you ever wondered why your partner has become less interested in sex over time? Have you ever wondered why your advances or requests for sex seem to be welcomed with much less passion and excitement than when you first started having sex? Do you feel frustrated and disappointed with your relationship and your sex life because you're just not getting as much sex and passion as you'd like? If so, then this video has the potential to change your life. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you exactly how to turn the situation around and get even the coldest woman to become a passion-hungry, sex-craving lover. And by the way, this does not involve having to splash out on any expensive gifts, holidays or dinners, and neither do you have to be young, without children, or have a lot of free time. I'm going to show you exactly why this relationship challenge happens to so many men, and I'm going to reveal the specific actions you can take to make your partner more horny, rapidly put her in the mood for sex, create a more spontaneous, exciting, energetic and adventurous sex life, and ultimately make her sexually addicted to you, even if right now sex seems like the last thing on her mind. So, if right now you're unhappy in your relationship, or you don't want to leave your partner but you worry about the prospect of being stuck in a passionless and sex-free relationship for the rest of your life, or you become jealous whenever you read about or hear other men's sexual adventures, or you just feel like you can't take any more rejections from your sexual advances, you need to watch this video. Now, before I go any further, I want you to know that this video is part of a little experiment that I'm running. As you may already know, I'm a professional sex author and educator. Over the past few years, I've taught literally hundreds of thousands of men sex advice through my videos, books, and newsletter. Every week I get messages from guys who have gone through my programs telling me how much their relationships have changed as a result of implementing what I teach. And the experiment that I'm going to be carrying out in this video is that I'm going to be teaching some of my best concepts that previously people have paid me a lot of money for. Unfortunately, if this upsets any of my existing customers, I will have to very quickly take this video down. So, if you want to learn what I have to share, then make sure you watch the whole of this video now. Now, the first thing I want to do in this video is destroy the myths that kill passion and her desire for sex in a relationship. Falling for the myths I'm about to share can enslave you to a dull and sexless relationship. However, if you outwit them, you'll have completed the very first step to having your lover be more passionate for you and more excited about sex than you've ever experienced before. Let's get straight to it. Myth number one is that her passion and desire naturally fades over time. This is a very widespread misconception about relationships. See, what happens is that at the beginning of the relationship, passion happens without much skill. Since each of you know so little about each other at the beginning of a relationship, there is constant discovery happening which creates excitement. However, as you spend more time together, there becomes less and less to discover, and therefore excitement slowly disappears along with passion and sex. The myth here is that nothing can be done to maintain or increase the passion found at the beginning of a relationship. The truth is that this situation can easily be turned around as soon as you begin making the idea of sex exciting for her again. The problem most guys have is that they never learn how to do this. Since passion happens so easily at the start of a relationship, they never learn the skill to trigger it in their partner after the honeymoon period finishes. But as soon as you discover how to stimulate your partner in ways that are exciting for her, the passion and her drive for sex will rapidly return. The key here is not to fall into the trap of thinking that decreasing passion and sexual desire is inevitable, when in fact it can be quickly activated with the right actions and techniques. The second myth is that having a child means your sex life is over. This is another common misconception. The truth here is that most couples just never learn how to manage the logistics of having sex after they have children. I'm not saying that kids don't need time and attention. What I'm saying is that by managing your time with them and away from them effectively, almost any couple can still find time for passionate lovemaking. And my guess is that you probably know a couple or two that still have an exceptional love life despite having children. The truth here is that all that's needed to fix this problem is to have sex at times when the kids aren't around or to lock the door to your bedroom to avoid the fear of getting disturbed, which, if you don't already have a bedroom lock, could be the best few dollars you've spent in a long time. See, what really happens is that people often just blame the kids for a lack of a sex life, because it's often easier than dealing with the true nature of the problem, which is a lack of skills in creating passion and desire for sex. The third myth is that after the menopause, women are less interested in sex. Again, this is another common misconception and is, like with children, often blamed because blaming something tends to be easier than having to deal with the true nature of the problem, which is a lack of skills in creating passion. Now, after the menopause, there's no denying that a woman's body physically and biochemically changes, but this by no means forces a woman to become less interested in sex. To prove this, in 2009, Christine Weber carried out a survey to women aged between 45 and 65, and she found that of all the women interviewed, only 6% of women were no longer interested in sex. And it's my personal guess that the few women in the study that weren't interested in sex just had lovers that didn't know how to do their job. Don't fall for this myth. The fourth myth is that she can't be changed, or that this won't work for me, or that my wife or girlfriend is different. Let me start this out by giving you an interesting definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. This is what most men do when their partner stops showing an interest in sex. They try a very small number of things to try and arouse their partner, and when it doesn't work, they resign and say things like, "She can't be changed, this won't work for me, my wife or girlfriend is different." The truth here is that these men are just doing the wrong things. She definitely can be changed, but it all depends on the actions that you take. Here's an example of how the actions of a man can dramatically change the chances of getting her excited about sex. One day, a man's wife is out of the house for the day, but the husband is at home. Scenario 1. The wife returns to find the husband sitting on the couch watching TV. As she enters, he remains watching TV. After a few minutes, the husband turns to her and says, "Do you want to have sex?" Scenario number 2. During that same day, the husband instead calls, texts, or emails his wife during the day saying, "I've got a special surprise planned for you tonight," and reveals nothing else. When she gets back to the house, there's a trail of red roses leading from the front door to a dining table where the husband's prepared her favourite dish with her favourite song playing in the background. After dinner, he leads her to the bedroom where the room is filled with candles and incense. Then he holds her, he looks her straight in the eyes and tells her softly but firmly, "I love you," before kissing her and taking her onto the bed. Now, whether this would work with your partner or not, or whether this approach matches your personality or not, isn't relevant here. I've used these two scenarios to illustrate a point. By changing the actions you take, you can radically influence how likely it is that your lover will want sex. However, very few guys actually implement actions that vary this much to see how it impacts how their partners act. Most guys just try 2 or 3 things that are virtually the same, get little results, and then claim, "She can't be changed." Don't fall for this trap. The truth here is that there are some very specific and unique actions you can take that will dramatically change how she acts, how passionate she is, and how desperate for sex she is. And what's even better is that these actions aren't difficult and don't have to be as effortful as what I just described, but they are very different to what most guys do. For the most part, they are completely counterintuitive and go completely against what comes natural to most men. So, what are these actions? Well, there are actually several, and they also require a certain deeper level understanding of female psychology to be executed to full effect and get the kind of life-transforming levels of passion increase and sexual excitement that I know you're looking for. So what I've done is I've created a video training program that walks through the entire process. No matter how disinterested in sex or dispassionate your partner is right now, I'll show you what to do to make her outrageously passionate about you and have her literally begging for sex. The name of this program is More Passion, more sex. Advanced video training on how to transform your wife or girlfriend into the most passionate and sex-hungry lover you've ever seen. The course is 100% online and taught through videos in a style very similar to that of this video. And inside I teach my most cutting edge and most effective techniques and actions for activating passion and sexual desire in your partner. In a second I'll outline exactly what's in the program, but before I do that, so that you know that this stuff really works, check out some of the feedback I've received from other men, probably very similar to you, who've implemented what I have to teach. One word describes this: amazing. In the first night my girlfriend wanted it. And that's not all. The first sex session was so good that 30 minutes later that night she wanted it again. I love this. Someone else wrote to tell me, my wife looks forward to sex now. She's now asking me for it rather than the other way around. Another comment I've got is, it is an outstanding course that has after only 2 weeks made my girlfriend want more sex. And also, thank you so much for the info. My wife is asking for more every day. And another comment I've got is, wife loves it and is hornier than ever. Now of course results will vary from individual to individual, but if you're willing to implement what I have to teach, you won't believe how much you'll see your lover change. Now to get specific, here's what you're going to learn in this course. You're going to learn my step-by-step blueprint of how to make her horny practically on your command. You're going to learn how to handle and overcome common objections to sex, like I have a headache or I'm too tired. You're also going to learn what to do so you can get her asking you for sex instead of the other way around. I'm also going to show you the specifics of managing logistics, such as dealing with kids or work commitments, so you can have tons of sex and passion even if you live a hectic lifestyle. You're also going to learn about deeper level female psychology. See, most men have no idea how women really work, so often they'll end up shutting down her attraction for them without even realizing. After this, you'll know more about women than 99% of men, and therefore have the power to arouse and satisfy her in ways you've never before thought were possible. You're also going to learn how to help her create and nurture a positive association to sex so that she'll start thinking about it and wanting to have sex with you almost all the time. You're also going to learn important mindsets so that having a passionate sex-filled life becomes a natural part of who you are. You're going to learn how to fulfill her sexual and emotional needs to such an extent that you'll become irresistible to her on all levels. You're also going to learn how to handle common female challenges, such as negative past sexual experiences or physical pain from sex, so that you can both experience more pleasure and satisfaction in bed, which will then make her want way more sex. You're also going to learn what to do when sex does happen to deliver her unbelievable pleasure, so she'll come back begging for more. And finally, you're going to discover how to make having a passionate and sex-filled relationship a permanent lifestyle change. And of course, you're going to learn much, much more. Overall, you're going to be receiving a total of 19 videos in this training. Plus, when you order today, you'll also get the following 2 bonuses thrown in absolutely for free. The first bonus you're going to get is called Getting Her to Try New Things. And whether it's performing new and adventurous sex positions, her trying on sexy outfits, role-playing, sex in more places, oral sex, anal sex, threesomes, or anything else, I'll show you how to help her explore things that previously she would never have been prepared to do with you. And just to be clear, I'm not talking about being unethical, using trickery, or doing things without her consent. I'm talking about how to give her confidence to try new things with you in a way that she totally loves and will thank you for doing with her. The second bonus you're going to get is called Avoiding the 6 Most Common Mistakes That Stop More Passion and More Sex. If you make any one of these mistakes, it can shut down all progress you're making to getting the amount of sex you really want. I'll show you how to avoid every single one. This is so powerful because it could be that just one of these mistakes is stopping you from getting all the sex and passion you really want in your relationship. So, Now you're probably wondering, what's the investment for this training? Let me start by asking you, how much would you be willing to pay to have a legendary sex life with your partner for the rest of your life? Personally, I know people that would be willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for this outcome. And I bet you can think of some men who are willing to spend thousands or more on expensive gifts to buy just one night of affection, passion and sex from their partners. So here's the deal. Although I could easily, I'm not going to charge in the thousands of dollars for this program. In fact, I'm not even going to charge $1,000. My last advanced video program, which contains about half as many videos as this one, I sold and still sell for $297. So, since this contains so many more videos, I could easily go ahead and charge $597 for this program. But like I mentioned at the start of this video, I'm trying out a little experiment here. And for this experiment, I'm making this program outrageously cheap so that I can get more men into the program, and hopefully as a result the larger numbers will help me recover my costs. But like I said, this is an experiment, so I'm not promising to keep this offer open even for the rest of today. I may pull this offer at any time. So here we go. If you invest now, while this video is still up and running, you can get access to this entire program, not for $1,000, not for $597, you can get instant access for only $197. Just $197, and I'll show you step by step how to transform your partner into a passion-crazy sex lover, and how to have the kind of sex life and relationship I know you really want and deserve. So to summarize, you're going to get the full 19 videos, more passion, more sex program, plus you're going to get the first bonus, which is getting her to try new things, and you're going to get the second bonus, which is stopping the most common mistakes that stop more passion and more sex, all for only $197. Compare that to the cost of that jewelry your partner has an eye on, or a session with a relationship counselor, and $197 is a freaking bargain. And not only that, this is a one-off investment. You can use what you learn in More Passion, More Sex to get your lover begging for sex over and over again for the rest of your life. That's a heck of a lot longer than how long the buzz from a new piece of jewelry lasts. Plus, check this out. When you order today, your investment will be backed by my ironclad 100% money-back unconditional guarantee. This means that if for any reason within the first 60 days of ordering you're not 100% satisfied, all you have to do is contact myself or my support team via the contact form on this website, ask for a refund, and all your money will promptly be refunded hassle-free. And what's even more is that your order will appear discreetly on your bill under the word ClickBank, which is the name of the payment processor, so no one has to know about this order if you don't want them to. Like I mentioned before, this course is delivered 100% online. Nothing will be shipped to you, so no waiting around for a package. After completing your order, you'll receive instant access to the entire program in the members area. Now, let me ask you a question. If you decide to never do anything about improving your relationship, what do you think your life will be like for you in 5 years' time? Do you think it'll get worse or better? My experience in working with guys in their relationships tells me that doing nothing does not increase the passion or ignite a new sex life. In fact, often things just get worse and worse, and you'll keep having to live with the frustration you're experiencing right now. But on the flip side, what if today you decided to start doing the things that trigger intense arousal and passion in your partner? How would your life look 5 years from now if you made a habit out of stimulating your partner in ways that rock stars do their groupies? My bet is that your relationship would be so passionate and sex-filled that you wouldn't even recognize it. And you can get started in making this happen today, because in More Passion, More Sex, I'll show you exactly, step by step, how to unlock more passion and sexual excitement in your lover than you've ever dreamed possible. To secure your access to the program, before I end my low price experiment, just click the button below this video now, enter your payment information on the next page, and within seconds you'll be directed to the members area where you can start watching the very first training video right now. Click below to begin, and I'll see you inside the training.